Who's that coming down the track? It's a mean machine in red and white. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia man. Go, go!
What's up, y'all? This is John and Caleb back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. I do want to say we're not having a funeral episode tonight. We are both wearing all black. It was not intentional.
Sure wasn't.
Tonight we're doing the third annual Golden Kegs, our postseason award show. Mike was going to join us, and you know, he's a baseball coach or something. I don't know. Not as important as what we do here. But he lost his voice at practice, and you know, he can't push through it. So
it happens, but honestly, I'm disappointed that he chose that over what really matters, which is this podcast.
right, like day job. What is that?
Come on now.
Who even cares?
There's one excuse for losing your voice before coming on this podcast, and that's you were in Sanford Stadium the night before.
I would say a sporting event in general.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I've struggled after some hockey games before.
Yeah. I wonder, we're going to see the Gym Dogs this time next week. I wonder if my voice will be struggling after that. Something tells me it won't be quite the same.
Probably not quite the same, no. But how you been? What are you drinking?
I have been all right. I am currently working on a protein shake because I have not had nearly enough meat today. I had a cheese pizza for lunch, and so I'm just trying to make up for it and getting some protein in. We're trying to balance that out in the diet. It has been a very thinky week at work this week. So I'm trying to wind down from all of that because my brain has just been in a frenzy all week. So looking forward to it the weekend. Hopefully I can just chill out and not have to think a lot and make a ton of decisions. How about you? How you been?
Pretty good. Been busy at work, man. It's just put out fires, metaphorical fires week this week. Jobs have been canceling, and then I'm hey, this customer has a fire marshal issue. They need you to get their stuff fixed today. What do they need done? No idea. Go figure it out and then fix it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, cool. I'll get that done. And I got it done every day. So,
Well,
it could be worse.
That's good.
I will say we're recording on Friday, so yesterday and tomorrow in context is not normal for us.
Yeah.
But I will say, as a sports fan, I had one of the best moments that you could have as a spectator yesterday. Ghost Pirates game, playing the number 3 team in the league, and Ghost Pirates kind of suck again, right? Like that doesn't matter how good they do in the first couple months of the season. They find a way to just lose way too many games. They're playing the number 3 team in the league, and Mike is joining us after he said he wasn't coming on. So
oh snap. Okay. Well, good.
Yeah. But anyways, Ghost Pirates are up 5-2, 5-3, something like that, and they're getting the puck back down to the end we're sitting in, which is also where the away team was at that point. And I yell out at the goalie, and Mike sat in our seats before. The goalie hears us when we talk shit. He'd been eyeballing me all night. And I said, hey, you better get ready for 6. And about, 5 seconds later, the Ghost Pirates scored their 6th goal of the night. So best moment I've had as a sports spectator to yell at a player, you're about to suck, and they actually suck.
Did suck.
Yeah.
That is pretty fantastic.
But in celebration for the 3rd annual Golden Kegs, I have my Christmas present from my boss. It is an Angel's Envy Triple Oak. Relatively new thing Angel Envy is doing. Let me see if I can pronounce the different types of barrels this was aged in. All right. So it's bourbon that was aged in or finished in Hungarian oak barrels, French oak barrels. This is not a racial slur. I'm trying to
Oh,
pronounce a
oh,
word.
wait, whoa.
Chinkapin.
Ah,
Chinkapin. That.
whatever that means.
Yep. Certain type
You're
of oak
canceled.
tree. I don't know. I can read. I can't talk. I struggle to read. Um, but Mike, how are you? Unexpected to have you on here. You said you
I
lost your voice.
I you know what? It sounds okay right now, but I'm sure after I say a little bit, the shit's gonna be gone again. Um, like all week I've been saying that, or not all week. The last couple of days I've been saying I've been doing my RFK Junior impersonation. Kids ask me if I smoked a whole carton before school and everything, and I'm like, I would have liked to, sure, but
I just want to
no,
know how
I'm
many
doing
times you
well.
worked out in blue jeans this week, considering you're doing an RFK impression.
I killed a bear and left it in Central Park as well.
You better not
Hell
have
Um,
eaten
yeah.
anything fried and anything but beef tallow.
dude, I sat in my pantry all
He
night
actually
waiting for my
just
kids to
ate
come
beef
down.
tallow.
I sat in my pantry all night waiting for my kids to come down and try to get some Pop Tarts. I don't mess with those red dyes that are in the Pop Tarts. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we can't do that. But no, I'm doing okay for the most part. Like I said, my voice will probably be gone fairly soon, I'm sure. Uh, I hadn't talked the last couple hours, so it's probably okay right now. But no, man, it's going all right. Doing baseball tryouts this week. It's been some highs and lows. I went from yesterday thinking that like, hey, we might be a playoff team to the last like couple hours thinking we might win a game. So we'll see. Some kids dropped out. So so we'll see. Baseball is not a priority here. Not like
Ah,
Cobb County, not like the Atlanta area. So is what it is.
I will say, Chatham County has a player in the Super Bowl, does not have a player in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, shout out Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was to say Warren Brinson, but he's not in the Super Bowl. Never mind.
Nope. Not yet. Give it a year or two.
Next year, when he's on the Eagles next year, I'm sure because the Lions will let me down.
You should be used to that.
It's the whole life, man.
All right. So
Hate to say I told you so on that front, but it is what it is.
So unexpected for both of you guys. I want us to get a couple Super Bowl bets for the end of the episode ready.
Cool. I'll get
And then
started.
we're gonna pick the game
Okay.
afterwards. Caleb, you know which way you have to pick this one.
I mean, obviously.
Or your best bet. Whichever one is
Yeah,
always the opposite. You know what you have to do.
here's the thing though. I did that earlier this year with the Georgia Alabama game. I said Alabama money line just to curse it, and that didn't work. So I'm not gonna do
But
that.
didn't you do it for Texas twice and it worked?
No, I never did that with Texas. I
Hmm.
didn't touch the Georgia Texas game either time. So I will make some bets for this one, but I'm gonna be very, very careful about it.
Patrick Mahomes, no pick sixes. That's your best bet.
I don't know though. I'm because championship game against the defending champion, Keely Ringo's gonna be popping out there. Just so I
Maybe.
that's not even one that
Maybe.
I mean, we are made not to forget that Malik Herring is on. He's on Kansas City, so it's not just all Georgia players on
When's
Philly.
the last time he played a meaningful snap?
I don't want to talk about that, but
When's the last time Jalen Carter almost intercepted a spike ball?
what was
Wasn't
it
it like
like?
2 weeks ago?
I was about to say almost 2 weeks
probably.
ago.
And we keep talking too about the Eagles defense for obvious reasons, but let's not forget Marcus Rosemy-Jackson to sign to the Philadelphia Eagles as well.
Practice squad superstar.
Hey,
It,
practice
Like
squad
he
counts.
should
Ask
be.
Jake Fromm.
He should right.
they still
he should
get
be on the active
rings if they
roster.
win. What's wild is if the Eagles manage to do it, right? There would be 8 players that won a ring with Georgia between 2021 and 2022 that got another one on Sunday.
Hmm.
But Philly just sucks as just a city and just fan base in general.
I mean,
Like, I would love. I
I'm
would
not
love.
going to disagree with you, but
I mean, I would love to root for them. Just, I mean, just out of principle, just because there's so many dogs on that team. But I don't know.
Here's the thing. There's a time when you gotta understand. Okay, yeah, the fan base in Philly is one of the worst out there. They are the Tennessee of
Yeah,
NFL football fans. But you know, sometimes when
Inside of the
Tennessee
stadium,
plays,
they are.
yeah, that's true. Sometimes when Tennessee plays Alabama, you gotta root for Tennessee. You know?
21 was the year for that. Yeah,
Yeah. So
And this past year,
yeah, yeah.
I was in. No, so um uh one of the physical therapists at the place I've been going recently, big Eagles fan from Delaware, like hardcore Eagles fan, and we've talked football every week. And I said, you guys get a terrible rap for like fans. And I was like, but the problem is, I've never met an Eagles fan in real life that was an asshole. Like, you see the videos of people at games, you'll occasionally see one drunk at a bar, but like just in a normal real life situation, I've never met one that was an asshole.
yeah.
I
So I
cannot
guess
say
you're
that about Kansas City fans.
that's true.
Can't say that
I
about Ohio State fans. Can't
can't
say
say
it
that about
about
Kansas
Tennessee
City
fans.
players.
Yeah.
Can't say it about Alabama fans. Like,
Yeah.
so Eagles fans get a terrible rap
I
for
guess
no
you could
reason.
say when they get in to watch the game, they are drunk and obnoxious, which
Fair.
we don't have a
Who
problem with
Well,
among
that
us?
here.
yeah, I'm gonna say you hate the people that most like resemble you, right?
I guess that's
So
true.
I guess you know what? That's fair. That's
Depending,
very
some
fair.
people hate the people that mostly resemble their dad, but that's a different
Same.
story.
No way.
All right. I feel like now that we are 12 minutes in, we should actually get to what the episode's about.
Probably.
All right. So, uh, Golden Kegs, third year. We're super excited. Starting off, starting off, how we got the voting done. We all nominated somebody for categories with only two people. We really felt like there was only two people that made sense to be nominated. In some of these categories, it really didn't even make sense for the second person to get nominated, for
We
being
just
entirely
had to
honest.
Fair.
put somebody there and let people technically vote on it.
Right.
Fair, yeah.
But if you're not following us on Instagram, you should be, because you could have voted on all but one of these categories, because I made graphics and forgot to post them for one of these categories. So we picked that 30 minutes ago.
I mean, it's the most important election of our lifetime.
That's
Every
true.
4 years.
Yeah.
But so we had you guys vote on these throughout the week, and all these results were pulled from Instagram. One of them literally changed between earlier this afternoon when we did this today, or tonight.
Okay. Okay.
So I had to rewrite part of what we're talking about here, because you guys make up your mind like a bunch of women, and you can go to hell for that.
Big facts.
All right. Offensive freshman of the
But
year.
seriously, thank you for your participation in this. Your feedback is important.
Yeah, what Kaleb said. He's better at social media than us. Offensive freshman of the year. Obviously, one of the most impactful freshmen on the entire team. Nitro Tuggle. That's just a joke, guys. That was the second name that we nominated.
He's technically the second most impactful freshman on this
Yeah,
offense.
yeah.
Yes.
Technically.
But there weren't really any freshmen that played a lot this year. We tried to dig. We really did. Not even like an offensive lineman got, like, not of a freshman offensive lineman did a whole lot. I guess we could have thrown Jazeer Jackson into it. Like I talked about, where's the tight end number, blocked on a lot of short yardage plays and touchdowns, but had zero counting stats for us to talk about. Nitro had some counting stats, not a lot, but Nate Frazier, obviously the winner of this category. Last I remember, I'm actually pulling it back up now just to be 100% clear. The voting went 99% to Nate Frazier.
So the 1% for Nitro was a troll then, or I'm assuming, right?
Unless Nitro
somebody
voted.
was being very kind.
I don't know how to find it on. I don't know how to find it. Like who picked what on here.
But I'm expecting Nitro to be big next year. It's no disrespect to Nitro, but
Yeah.
I mean they definitely had a better year.
He'll have his moment.
Nitro, if you voted for yourself, hit us up. We'll
Yeah.
we'll work with you on something. You know?
brother, you can come on like tomorrow if you want.
Yeah.
But Nate finished the season 671 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 85 receiving yards. Huge part of the reason the Clemson game went the way it did. Obviously, Trevor was suspended for that game. Nate kind of took over in the second half. And then, one of the most pivotal plays of the Georgia Tech game, scoring that winning 2-point conversion in 8th overtime, saving me from cutting off all of my toes or getting into a fight to get warm. So personally, I needed that.
Yes.
But no, I mean, obviously Nate had a hell of a year, and with Trevor moving on, I think we all expect big things from Nate moving forward. But it is a loaded running back room next year. If he had these same stats, but so did 3 other guys or 4 other guys, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say, and there's gonna be somebody inevitably who we'll post the clip or they'll listen to the podcast and be like, but he has a fumbling problem. Lots of guys have fumbled the ball a lot the first time an SEC player got their hands on them. It just is something that happens. This dude is gonna be.
Y'all remember late in the 2017 season when Sonny Michel fumbled a lot of balls, including in the fourth quarter of the Rose Bowl?
I was just about to say, absolutely.
It happens, and no one cares because he was still a massive contributor for this team, and Nate Frazier is going to be as well. This dude is going to be absolute stud. Also, how is Georgia consistently able to get sons of fighters to be running backs for them? Consistently at this point.
Wait, is that Joe Frazier's son?
I have heard somewhere that it was. I might need to fact check that because he might not be, but it would
maybe
be cool
maybe
if
his grandson maybe.
Yeah, hang on. Let me fact check myself.
Okay, I was about to say.
I mean,
as
Joe Frazier,
the resident combat sports fan, I'm going to be real mad if I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If Joe Frazier let his grandson live in Compton and then come to Georgia, then there's something seriously wrong.
It's hard to pound that pavement if you wake up in silk sheets.
Nate Frazier's Wikipedia page doesn't say anything about it.
So we'll roll with it.
We're gonna assume that you're correct, is what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just go with it,
Mike Tyson's son, where you at?
Wait, are you talking about the reporter that interviewed him when he was wearing a man thong? Because that was his son.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. No idea. Okay.
Yeah. Let's not have that guy come play running back at Georgia.
Yeah, that's
just thought. All right. Do one of you guys want to take defensive freshman of the year?
Sure. I will take defensive freshman of the year. I feel like I don't even need to pull up the post to know who won this one. The choices were Chris Cole, who has started to break out a little bit, and KJ Bolden, and it was KJ Bolden. I don't think it was particularly close this time either.
96% to 4.
Okay, little better.
Closer. But, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously KJ Bolden, huge for us. Basically came in day 1 starter when we really needed somebody at the safety position. That was somewhere where we didn't have a whole lot of depth, although the guys who were starting on the field for us beforehand were pretty dang good, including one guy who didn't get enough credit before this year for being really dang good. But I'm sure we'll get to him later. KJ Bolden. Actually. Yeah. KJ Bolden did everything you could reasonably expect him to do. Didn't quite have the major freshman breakout season that Malachi Starks had. Not a lot of people do. But he only got better as the season went on. By the time the season went, he looked to me to have like a genuine veteran presence in terms of the way he carried himself on the field and the way that he played. I don't have his statistics in front of me. I don't feel like you need him though. I don't feel like the statistics would do him justice. He was hitting hard, and he was always around when the ball was being thrown deep. He was everywhere he needed to be on the field anytime. Like that's the kind of guy that you want at your safety position, and he did very, very well in it. I'm very, very glad we get him for a couple more years.
Yeah, he's gonna be super important the next 2 years at a minimum for sure. With all the turnover that we're gonna have at least next year.
Hey,
So.
the next 2 years, we ain't getting any more than that. So don't say at a minimum. He's gone.
Yeah.
I will say it kind of shocked me that a lot of people, at least that voted for and commented on our Instagram post, didn't know who Chris Cole is.
Yeah, come on, y'all.
That's wild.
Yeah, like multiple comments. Who is Chris Cole? It's like, all right, guys.
Need y'all to step your fan game up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Right. And I know we go deeper into the roster than a lot of people do. And I know, like, as far as flashy plays, he made 2 this year, right? Fumble recovery towards the end of the Tennessee game, and in the pass broken up earlier in the season. I don't even remember who it was against. I think it was Mississippi State. Had a pass batted down. But here's the thing. Chris Cole in coverage as a linebacker was taking away a chunk of the field every time he was in coverage. And that impact as a true freshman and an inside linebacker is extremely impressive. So, like, there were the people that knew in the comment section were like, man, that's the next great Georgia linebacker, Roquan Jr. coming in. It's like, you know. Thank you.
Yep, you get it.
I mean, Roquan didn't put up the stats his freshman year either.
No, Roquan didn't break out until his last season, really.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, Chris Cole, he's going to be something. Had to show him some love before we moved on.
And especially if he can put on some weight this offseason, because he's huge, like height and length, but he's a little skinny. If he puts on just a little bit of weight, he's able to lay the lumber when he hits people. Man, we're talking about guys wishing he would go to the draft next season. Like, he's that type of player. 5-star, number 1 linebacker out of Virginia last year. We should have talked about him more before the season. All right, I do have a little bit of a rant to go on with Offensive Player of the Year. So Mike's going to get Defensive Player of the Year.
You know what? I was not prepared for Offensive Player of the Year. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I got a rant to go on because I myself was part of the problem, and I am realizing that. But 2 nominees were Trevor Etienne and Arian Smith. I know everybody thinks that is a very easy call, and according to the voting, it was a very easy call. Trevor Etienne got 91%. Arian Smith got 9%. Here's the issue that I have. Arian Smith was disrespected. He got disrespected. And I know I particularly, but none of us on the show have been his biggest fan this year, right? He had a lot of drops.
Yep.
But I broke down the numbers. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I still do actually want to go back and watch every game. Yes, I mean every game. And like see if he got tackled where he caught all of his drops, how many yards he would have. But we're just doing like an average statistical analysis here. So in 2024, Arian was targeted 75 times, caught 48 passes. So let's assume of the 27 targets that did not get caught, in a perfect world, he catches 15 of those 27. We'll say 12 are tossed up to bad throws, deflections, because the target is just thrown at the guy, right?
Yeah.
So we'll say in a perfect world, he catches 15 of those. If the passes were thrown well, at his yards per reception number. We're taking what he got this year. And there was a game this season that he had 1 catch for 4 yards. Like, not saying he was great every game, but there were some games he put up terrible numbers. But if you're taking his yards per reception average and applied it to those 15 catches, he's the single season receiving yards leader in the history of the University of Georgia. 1,046 yards.
Yeah, there was a point early in the season where he wasn't having a huge drop problem, and we were talking about him like he was on pace for that. And, then he got later in the year and some more targets opened up. Okay, that the whole team kind of got a drop problem.
In November, his number of targets drastically decreased.
Right.
So through the 1 week in August and September and October is where he got most of his targets. And if he had caught, with his average yards per reception, 15 more passes, that is Carson not getting tipped at the line of scrimmage once every 2 drives.
Yep.
That is Carson not throwing it directly at a linebacker or defensive back multiple times a game in the middle of the season.
Yep.
That
Can't do that.
That is Arian. They played 14 games this year. That is Arian getting 1 less drop per game, +1. Right? Like, it's not that ridiculous to think that he could have 15 more receptions this year.
Yep. Yeah. That's factual.
He would have been the all-time single season receiving yards leader for the University of Georgia. So everybody that hates on Arian Smith as of 2024, somewhat in 2023, well, let's go touch some grass, guys. Like, are you saying Carson had the best season? You saying he threw the best passes? Are you, like, everybody was dropping passes this year. Everybody was dropping passes. Hell, Carson dropped some snaps this year. All right, the gloves were not working at Georgia this year. So, Arian, not going to say he's the best wide receiver to ever play at Georgia, but for people acting like he was a scrub, you're absolutely incorrect. But Trevor Etienne was 100% the offensive player of the year. I truly think that without Trevor Etienne, this Georgia team wins 7 games at most. You can still say they win Clemson because they obviously won that game. But are you telling me the guy that scored the only touchdowns against Texas not being on the team, they win that game? Or the guy that scored the touchdown that won
the
SEC championship not being on the team, they still win that game? You can't convince me of that. So, no, I mean, Trevor Etienne, 803 total yards, 9 total touchdowns, including 5 against Texas, 5 rushing touchdowns against Texas. That accounts for 33% of Texas' total rushing touchdowns allowed. That's enough said right there.
Yeah.
Trevor Etienne, Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, really don't think it's up for debate.
No, it's not. He was the offense at times when everybody else was falling apart. He was the one person you could pretty consistently rely on, even if not to do great, to do good enough to get you the win.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
I will
we're hoping that Nate does that next year for us. Trevor's gone.
Well, you still got Branson and Roderick and Peanut, and there's a ton of guys.
Guys
in the running back room. I honestly felt bad and felt like it was a little recency bias to not have Carson in this voting. And then I realized he accounted for 14 turnovers this year.
Yeah,
and I no longer felt bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a quarterback, you don't want to turn it over.
I'm pretty sure Carson this season had as many turnovers as Brett Thorson had punts in 2023 or 2022.
It can't be far off.
No.
He might have had more.
No. All right, Mike, Defensive Player of the Year.
Offensive, right?
Defensive. I just did offense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I scrolled too far. My bad. Sorry. All right. Anyway. All right. So we do have 3 nominees for this. We do have Dirty Dan Jackson, Jalen Walker, and of course Malachi Starks as well. I mean, we're definitely thrilled that y'all were able to pick this one because it's a really tight race. Just for some background on that, Malachi Starks, 77 total tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 pick, and 3 pass deflections or pass defended. I'm sorry. Jalen Walker, obviously insane. The majority of the year playing inside and outside linebacker, just being an absolute wrecking ball on defense. 60 total tackles, 11 total tackles for loss, 2 passes defended, 2 fumble recoveries, obviously huge. And then Dirty Dan, 64 total tackles, 2 TFLs, 3 pass defended, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 forced fumble. Uh, that was really one of the deciding plays in the Georgia Tech game late in the year. So I don't know. Who do the people decide on this one?
The people's champ is Jalen Walker.
Yeah, buddy.
That's one of the ones that kept changing throughout.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. No, that one, I'm pretty sure people were still voting on it while we were recording because of the response number changing and the winner changing between when we started recording and now.
Mhm.
So if y'all see the graphics and go back to the polls,
It might be
on
different.
Monday, and the poll says something different, as of 8:31 p.m. on February 7th, y'all voted for Jalen.
Yep.
No, I mean,
Is that a wrong choice?
No, there
It's
really
not.
isn't in this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. The love Jalen Walker's getting in the NFL draft right now, I mean, I've seen multiple people say that he could be a Micah Parsons type player on whatever team he goes to.
Hmm.
And, just the ability to play inside and on the edge, really take on one-on-one any blocker, tight ends in coverage. He has that ability. He's got the leadership. It's gonna be cool seeing him play for any team that's not Dallas or Kansas City.
Facts.
Rumor is Ladd needs help out in LA.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
All right, for play of the year. I'm going back to it here because I got the results and I control which play shows up on the screen at any point in time for those watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can watch these plays while we're talking.
Yep.
And there will be audio with the plays on YouTube. If I forget to clip out the dead air for the audio version of the podcast, just skip ahead a couple times and you'll be right back into the conversation. But here is the third place play of the year candidate.
Bring this blitz, you got to disguise it and come late. See, the back stepped up with the pressure coming from the middle, and this time the pressure from the outside gets home. The quarterback Ewers never felt it because it came so.
Who's that coming down the track?
All right. Guys, I'm not big on technology. For some reason, after months of me fighting our soundboard to try and get it to where I hit a key and the intro starts playing, it never worked. And then today, as I'm shifting between screens much more often, it wants to do what I asked it to do in October.
Of course.
Yeah, because technology hates me. But the very first play that we just showed, if you're watching on YouTube, and the play that got third place, Dalen Everett strip sack in Austin.
Wow.
I'm kind of surprised that got third place.
Third surprises me. After thinking about this one, because this was my pick to win.
Yeah.
There was the clip that I imagine won. Started making more sense in my head for reasons I'll explain when we get to it. But this was a huge deal, guys.
It was.
So-
It was. And there were a lot of plays that we talked about for this specific category. And honestly, next year we may do an offensive play of the year and defensive play of the year. We may have done that in the past, especially in 2022 when they won a national championship. It made a lot more sense. The defense was better, especially. But for this year, we did just one play of the year. We had one defense, two offense. There were multiple options on defense. There were multiple options on offense we could have gone with, and in hindsight, probably should have gone with. Done 3 or 4 in each category, and we did. So our bad. But that shockingly got third because when we talked about it at the beginning, we all thought that was going to be the winner. So for the play that came in second place.
Football playoff. Frazier straight ahead and straight in. Oh, it's great.
Would y'all like to guess which one came in second place?
Was that the Dylan Bell catch?
No, that wasn't.
Was it
on there?
That wasn't on the list. Gotcha.
No.
Was it the Nate touchdown or
the Georgia Tech
point conversion?
2 overtime?
Yeah. Nate calls game in 8. That was that won second place. And just so we're all on the same page here, third place got 19% of the vote, second place 23%, and first place 58%.
I am surprised that it wasn't closer.
That's shocking.
So what's funny is the first couple of days it changed drastically. Like it was almost 90% Dalen's strip sack. And then it went to Nate, and then it went to the other one, and then it switched again, and then it switched back. But we do have the first place play right here, and it is
ETN in the I formation. They hand it to him. Touchdown! Georgia SEC champions! As every dog.
It's one of the best I formation plays in the history of the University of Georgia.
Yeah, for sure. The reason I said I came around on this one was because like the Dalen sack was probably more exciting in the moment. It was probably like just a bigger highlight play. But obviously this one meant more in terms of what it meant for the season.
Yeah, importance wise, it gave Georgia, obviously a week off in that, and
it gave Georgia a trophy, an SEC championship.
Yeah, like we got something out of it. It's more that Georgia got more out of this season than Texas did.
Yeah, I don't care what Texas fans are still yapping.
Whoa, they got some souvenir beer cans and water bottles from that game in Austin.
Oh,
yeah, the game. The Cotton Bowl is like what 30 minutes away from Austin.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not big on Texas geography. I'm sorry.
Texas, to my understanding, it's actually one of the smaller states, slightly bigger than Rhode Island. So everything's pretty close.
I mean, is Texas even a real state? People are
asking.
I mean, they do call themselves a republic every now and then.
That's true.
Yeah.
But as far as I am concerned, Georgia got what is essentially the second biggest accomplishment you can get in college football this year. And that run is what made that happen. Don't argue, Mike. It is the second biggest accomplishment you can get in college football.
I was about to agree with you.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know if you.
I know sometimes you're a Michigan man.
No, I was saying, like, I don't know if you're gonna say the Big Ten championship because I don't care about that.
No.
Yeah. No, obviously nobody cares about the Big Ten championship.
There's 3.
Well, it doesn't matter because you can win the national championship and come in 4th place in the Big Ten, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Who wants to take breakout player of the year? I'm gonna look up stats. For the winner.
Okay.
While
you look it up, I will go ahead and reveal it to the world. Breakout player of the year winner. We had a few choices for this, and unfortunately didn't get to put it on the social media.
That's on me.
That's okay. Because I don't think the person who deserved it would have won if we put it on social media. Our nominees were Chris Cole, who apparently the social media folks didn't even know. I forget who the second guy was who didn't win. Was it
Lawson Lucky?
Lawson Lucky. And it was Chaz Chambliss, who ultimately we decided is the guy who deserves this, just because what a leap this guy has taken. Like, he's always been a serviceable guy to have on the edge. You know, you could plug him in. He knows the defensive playbook and he gets the job done. That's the way Chaz Chambliss was described. By the end of this,
he was always a gritty lunch pail kid.
hey, we're getting
It
to
always
that. We're getting
brought
to
it.
that.
All right.
We're getting to that.
So I can actually quantify the leap that he's made through his total tackle numbers. So his freshman season, 2021, he actually played in 14 of 15 games. Kind
He
of
had a
wild.
sack in the Orange Bowl, didn't he? He had like a bone
Yes.
jarring in that Orange Bowl.
Yes, but I mean that it got to garbage time against you boys at
That's
that
fair.
point. So
Yeah.
There's no garbage time against Michigan.
yes.
No.
So 2021, he played 14 games, 11 total tackles, right?
Yeah.
2022, 12 games. He dealt with an injury in 2022. He would have played in all 15. 15 total tackles.
That's
2023,
That's wild. Okay.
2023, he was a junior. He was a starter. Played in every single game. 20 tackles. 2024, senior, starter. 40 total tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 4 yards. That was his first fumble recovery in his career at the University of Georgia.
That's wild.
Yeah. So if you're going to argue with Chaz Chambliss winning Breakout Player of the Year, maybe there's a reason we forgot to put it on Instagram for y'all to vote. Because sometimes y'all be stupid.
Argue with a wall, as they say, a big, beautiful wall that Mexico's going to pay for.
Yeah, if you can quantify why either of these other two guys deserved it more than Chaz Chambliss, I will listen to your argument. I need quantifiable information. But if you can't, pound sand.
Kick all the rocks.
All right, you guys actually spearheaded this last award.
Wait a second.
Don't try to not pull that off on us. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, we did.
It was a group.
It was a group
decision.
effort.
Wait, you guys went back and forth, and I just tossed out a
Yeah,
couple of
okay.
ideas.
That's fair. That's fair.
I can't even pronounce it. Obviously, if you've seen the graphic on social media, I can't even fix it. I
the
said
right words in there.
Lunchables on accident. Actually, it's autocorrect. Changed it from Lunch Pail to Lunchables.
Which is a very funny autocorrect, in fairness.
It is. And shout out you guys for calling us out on that, because I didn't even notice it for a solid 48 hours.
I just thought it was intentional when I saw it. I was like, oh, he's
I
just
mean,
gonna
that would have
call
been
it
cool
Lunchables.
too.
That
We
makes
can give the
sense.
Lunchable award to one of these guys. Sure.
We're
why not?
sponsored,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Short tangent, because it's the off season. We can do this now. Best Lunchable, go.
Oh,
I mean, it's
nacho one, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be the nachos.
Oh, I'm gonna say the pepperoni pizza.
That was my second place. If the
No.
sauce was better, I would say that one. But
Okay,
the
as a
nachos,
kid,
is just
I loved the taste of heartburn,
fair.
I mean,
but I've always hated the plastic nacho cheese. Is my issue.
Yeah, that's fair. But the pizza one, just, I mean, are you heating it up? Because if it gets
No.
cold, it tastes bad. I don't know.
No, see, here's the thing. Even as a kid, I was preparing myself to eat MREs cold. You know, unintentionally. I was like, who needs warm food? And now as an
Yeah.
adult, there's sometimes where I get some leftovers out of the fridge and I'm sitting there, think for a minute, is this going to taste so much better heated up in a microwave where like half of it's warm and half of it's cold for me to take the time and do it, or should I just eat it cold?
Yeah, dude, just give me the cold chicken and pizza all day. Don't microwave it.
Cold pizza is better than hot pizza.
That's a two Americas thing right there.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. But yes.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's better, but I did have some cold pizza for lunch, and it ain't bad. It's doable.
Yeah.
I actually, throw myself under the bus here. There are some times where I will know that I'm gonna be a piece of garbage and not cook the next day, or don't have lunch ready, and I'll eat dinner, and then order a pizza and stick it in the fridge just so I can have cold pizza for lunch or dinner the next day.
Now it depends on
I
what
like
chain
cold
restaurant you
pizza
go to, though.
better.
Depends on what chain restaurant you go to, though. Because there's not good mom and pop pizza here in Savannah.
Except
Sorry.
Huckapoo's.
True. That's too far away for me, so I can't just
That's fair.
go get
That's
it on
fair.
a whim.
Um,
Hopefully soon I can. We'll see.
yeah. No free ads, but free ads for Huckapoo's.
Yes.
The owner is awesome. One of my really good friends is a waiter there and refuses to let me pay for alcohol, and I never leave sober. I never leave sober.
There you go.
So shout
Nice.
out Huckapoo's. I've been accidentally to Jello wrestling at Huckapoo's. It's just
Ooh,
all American establishment.
that's awesome.
It truly is.
All right.
I don't know where we're at.
No, we're at this last award because you guys won't.
Oh yeah, the
Y'all won't
gritty,
take
deceptively athletic lunch pail guy award, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
if you don't know, let's just say the award is named after what a guy like this might be called by commentators after he
Draft
makes a good play.
experts, if you will.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. The Todd McShays of the world might describe
Yes.
a guy this way if they're being complimentary. A real Lad
y'all
McConkey
think-
type.
Do y'all think Todd McShay uses hymns? Or is he a Rogan
Oh,
man?
most. It's one of them. I think he's
Yeah.
upgraded to hymns by now, surely.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. Do y'all have the... I know you have the candidates, but do you have the winner in front of you?
I don't. I can make a pretty solid guess as to who it was, but I don't know for sure.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
This
just looking
one
at the
also
candidates we
changed
have,
quite a
I don't
bit
know.
throughout.
Oh, did it really?
Yes.
I would have thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but all right.
I mean, I know who I would pick,
Yeah.
but go on.
All right, so coming in third place, it's a guy we've already talked about today. With 3% of the vote, Chaz Chambliss.
That's disrespectful. I'm sorry.
Disrespectful.
He should have gotten more than 3%.
Yes.
You know,
And I-
third place makes sense, but no, it doesn't. Not who else is
I just
Right,
gave you
right.
guys the numbers on why he was better than 3% of the vote.
Right, exactly.
Come on now.
Second place, 15% of the vote. The only guy out of this group we will see next year. Who would that be? Emphasis on who?
Cash Jones.
Who?
Uh-huh. Only
Cash Jones.
15%.
Come on. This should have been a 40, 35, 30 type vote or whatever, however the math adds up.
Yep, we're not mathologists here, guys.
We are not.
Yeah, I am disappointed in the lack of love for Chaz and Cash. We had 232s on here. Cash Jones, notably, scored the only touchdown in the Sugar Bowl. Just want to say that.
That is worth
You did.
something.
You did?
Scored multiple times against Georgia Tech. Just want to say that. Only 15% of the vote. And the winner, deservedly so. Deservedly so.
Yes.
I don't know, 82% deservedly so, but deservedly so. Dan Jackson.
Dan the Man Jackson. He's the reason I wanted to put this award in here so he
Yep.
could get something. Because something told me he wasn't going to get Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like he kind of deserved it.
What's wild, Dan Jackson won Defensive Player of the Year before we started recording.
Yeah.
And
wow.
then I checked again while we were talking about it, and it had shifted to
Was
Jalen.
Man.
That's
Well,
wild.
that's crazy. Give it out. You know, he was statistically the best safety on the team this year.
Yep.
And he shared a field with Malachi Starks. So just putting that
Yeah.
out there.
He shared the field with 2 5-stars as a former walk-on,
Oh yeah.
0-star recruit, and was statistically the best guy out there.
Yeah. Is he the defensive Stetson Bennett? People are asking.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards yes, based on the throw alone.
I don't know. I don't know if Dan is like it has a dip cup near him at all times. I don't know.
Does Dan Jackson have a drinking problem?
And a flip phone.
Yeah, I don't think Dan does. I don't know.
No.
I mean, I love Dan, but I don't know if he's that.
I do
cool.
think
Yeah.
Dan, hear me out. 100% hear me out. I think Dan would be the white equivalent of Vince Wilfork in the NFL.
I could see it.
Wait,
Vince Wilfork would ride a horse in overalls training camp.
okay. Yeah.
Dan Jackson would be the white version of that.
Okay, so in terms of aesthetics with that stuff, yes. I mean,
Yes.
yes.
I feel like if you just covered Dan Jackson head to toe and let him go into an NFL training camp, people would be like, "Who the is that?" And then he would take it off and be like, "What's up, guys?"
Howdy ho.
It would be like Cooper DeJean, who could actually cover in space. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's going to be the next safety for Philadelphia. So
There we go. Yep.
Philly, the
One-
only team in the NFL with 2 white defensive backs.
about
You
to
heard
be
it.
3.
You heard it here. Yep.
Well, Dan
About
would
to
be
be
the second.
Yeah. He's
Wait.
he's assuming Dan Jackson because Dan Jackson was on Georgia's team in 2021.
Oh yeah. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I feel like we're all like somewhat in the same book, but like one of us is in the table of contents, one of us is in the middle, and one of us is in the appendix. You know, we're
I mean,
we're nowhere close to the same page, but we're reading the same material.
Yeah, the same
Yeah.
book is there in front of us.
Dan Jackson, Gainesville, Georgia's own man.
Dirty Dan. Also, one thing I've learned looking up primarily freshmen. Did you know Oscar Delp's little brother is a tight end on the team?
I
No
did hear
kidding.
that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah. Just a little fun fact since we didn't
Is
get to talk
he-
about Oscar Delp.
Is he a walk-on tight end? I assume, right?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows? There's no scholarship limits anymore. And
Yeah, it
there's
doesn't
no
matter
restrictions with NIL. Nothing matters.
Nothing. There's no rules. Whatever.
Yeah, like you're like third cousins with our backup long snapper. Yeah, dude.
Sure, come on in.
Yeah, here's a $50K a year NIL deal. Just put a jersey
Dude.
on. It'll be fine.
Yep.
Just for gigs, you all know what Dan Jackson's major is? Just take a guess.
Accounting.
What about you,
Sports
Caleb?
medicine.
I didn't know this was a major, but it's agrobusiness.
Agro business. All right.
So Dan Jackson's about to be the plug.
Shout out, Dan. I knew you were down, buddy. Let's go.
There
Dirty
we go.
Dan the man. Let's go. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. As always, follow us on social media because you can participate in the next award ceremony. And I think we're going to be doing some stuff like this. I've got some stuff that I am literally making eye contact with to give away. So I think we're going to do a few giveaways throughout the off season. We're going to brainstorm, figure out what we're doing with that. But keep an eye out on social media. Rate and review the show 5 stars. It'll help us out, and the cooler stuff we can do, it'll help you out. But as always,
Wait.
oh,
What? I
we're
mean, we
going-
don't know the answer yet, but like Tuesday of next week, I'm gonna manifest this. Just saying
on the
it.
10th, we will be asking you guys to vote for us.
Yes,
The most important election of our lifetime.
people are saying
Yeah.
Again,
Again.
if
unprecedented.
for what it's worth, if we happen to win the most important election of our lifetime, and Kaleb does not agree to come drink way too much with us, and we have to kidnap him, we will record it
There we go.
and put it on our YouTube
Yeah.
that you guys should be subscribing to.
Well, now I kind of want to refuse just so y'all have some content to put out.
But here's the thing, we both work full time through the week, so it'll have to be like Sunday afternoon the week before.
Oh yeah.
And we'll
Dude,
just have to
work-
tie
I-
you
I wo-
up in the garage somewhere.
I work for the state government. I have plenty of PTO.
I don't work for the state government, but I also own a 95 Jeep, so I don't think it would make it to Augusta.
My not my nice car, but my 2010 Ford Focus might be able to do it. We'll see.
But I mean, I think it would be much more comfortable if we tossed him in the back of the Expedition. We could put a nice little movie on for him.
There we go.
I don't have the
make him
built
walk
with it.
Rudy.
Like, yeah, everybody thinks that I have all the stuff in the car. I mean, it is a nice car, but it doesn't have the built-in like screens and shit like that, like the big timers we talked about in the.
You can get one of those old
Fly
portable
video.
battery-operated DVD players for like $8 now, I'm sure.
Probably. That's fair. Yeah.
But who has DVDs?
Yeah, that's
we
great.
do. Most of them are for children. Like most of them are Barbie movies, but I've got them.
I have a VCR, so I can't even talk.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
All right, guys. Vote for us on the 10th. We're gonna manifest it that we made the cut. But most importantly, as always, remember there is nothing finer in the land
And a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.